Hey everyone and welcome. We're calling this special session the Flow Tao Salon. Why? Because today we're all about finding that Tao, that balance, for our focus in this wild new era of AI. We're going to tackle one of the biggest questions out there. How do we protect our own minds? Let's get right into it. I want to start with just one number for you. 47 seconds. What do you think of that is? Well, it's the average amount of time, you heard me, the average time we now spend looking at any one screen before we switch to something else.
Yep, 47 seconds. It's a pretty jarring number, right? And it really forces us to ask the big question for today. How on earth did this happen? How do we lose that incredible ability to just sink into deep, focused thought? This isn't just a small annoyance, you guys. It's a full-blown crisis of attention.
So, here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the age of collapsing focus, then get into what AI anxiety is all about. After that, we'll rediscover the idea of flow, lay out 3 powerful strategies to get it back, and wrap up with 4 key findings you can actually use.
Okay, let's dive right into part 1, the age of collapsing focus. And look, this isn't just a gut feeling that we're all distracted. The numbers tell a really clear and kind of scary story.
So, a researcher named Gloria Mark has been tracking our attention for about 2 decades now. Check this out. Back in 2004, our average attention span on a screen was 150 seconds. Pretty good. By 2016, it had taken a major hit, and now it is absolutely plummeted to that 47-second mark. We are literally living in a state of nonstop, jumpy, fragmented attention.
But here's the real kicker. The problem isn't just that we get interrupted. The real cost is something called the switch cost. Every time you get distracted, even for a second, it takes your brain, on average, 25 minutes to get back to that same level of deep focus. Now think about that. If we're switching tasks every 47 seconds, we're basically never getting into that deep work zone. We're living in a state of perpetual cognitive switching. So this is the world that AI has just exploded into. And AI isn't just another distraction. No, it's adding this whole new layer of psychological pressure. And that brings us to our second section, AI anxiety and this thing called cognitive offloading. You know, when we say AI anxiety, it's not just one thing. Yeah, sure, a big chunk of it, about 40%, is the fear of being replaced at our jobs. But look at the rest. 30% is this fear that our own skills are just wasting away, that our brains are getting rusty. 20% is good old FOMO, the feeling that you're falling behind if you don't know the latest tool. And the last 10% is just raw competitive pressure. It's this deep worry about staying relevant.
And all that anxiety leads us to do something called cognitive offloading. It's a fancy term for a simple idea. We're outsourcing our thinking. I mean, we've been doing it for years, right? We let our phones remember numbers for us. But now, with AI, we're starting to offload the heavy stuff, like brainstorming, writing, even making critical judgments. We're letting the machine do the thinking. And this leads to a really powerful concept from neuroscience, cognitive debt. Think of it like this. For every bit of easy, instant convenience we get from AI, we're basically taking out a loan against our future brain power. And the interest rates are high. One study, and this is just wild, found that when people used AI to help them write, it led to a 55% reduction in the neural connections related to memory and deep thought. We're literally changing our brains.
So our focus is shattered, we're outsourcing our thinking. What have we really lost in all of this? Well, that brings us to this beautiful, almost magical concept in psychology that's become incredibly rare. Let's talk about flow, the lost optimal experience.
You know that feeling, right? When you're so into what you're doing that the whole world just disappears? You lose track of time, you're not worried about what people think, you're just in it. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi gave that a name, flow. He called it the optimal experience, the absolute peak of human performance and happiness.
But here's the problem. AI seems almost perfectly designed to destroy the conditions needed for flow. Let's just walk through this. To get into flow, you need a good balance between challenge and skill. Well, AI can make things so easy that the challenge just vanishes. You need clear goals, but AI can throw so many options at you that you forget what you were even trying to do. Deep concentration? Good luck with all the notifications. A sense of control? Hard to have when you're dealing with a black box algorithm. And losing your self-consciousness? Impossible when you're secretly worried that the AI is better than you. It's a systematic takedown of flow.
Okay, I know that sounds pretty bleak, but here's the good news. Now that we know how flow gets broken, we can start to fix it. So let's flip the script and dive into the solutions with Section 4,
3 strategies, all backed by experts, to rebuild our flow. Strategy number 1 comes from Cal Newport's amazing concept of deep work. This is about declaring war on distraction. First, you have to protect your time like it's a vault of gold. Literally schedule 3 to 4 hours of do not disturb time every day. Second, embrace what he calls slow productivity. The goal isn't to be busy, it's to be effective. Do fewer things, but do them incredibly well. And finally, you got to train your focus like a muscle. Pick up a hard hobby, something that demands your full attention, like learning guitar or reading a challenging book. Our second strategy is about being smart and realistic with our energy. You can't be at 100% focus all day long. Nobody can. Your attention has a natural rhythm. So first, get to know your peaks. For most of us, that's late morning and mid-afternoon. Guard that time for your most important work. Second, practice meta-awareness. That just means noticing the moment you get the urge to click away. Just pause and ask yourself, wait, why am I doing this? And third, take better breaks. Getting up and moving your body is, hands down, the best way to recharge your brain.
Now, for our third strategy, we have to talk about a brand new kind of mental exhaustion that's popping up everywhere. A recent Harvard study of nearly 1,500 people gave it a name, and it's perfect: AI brain fry.
So what exactly is AI brain fry? It's the weird fatigue you get from supervising an AI. First, there's the verification burden. It is literally more draining on your brain to find a mistake in an AI's work than to find your own. Then there's decision fatigue. You're making constant micro-choices. Accept this, reject that, tweak this part. It adds up. And finally, there's role shift anxiety, that feeling of stress that comes from going from being the creator to just being an editor.
The way to beat AI brain fry is our third strategy, and it is a huge mental shift. We have to stop just throwing random prayer-like prompts at AI and hoping for the best. That just leads to frustration. Instead, we need to become flow engineers. We need to use a structured step-by-step process that puts us back in control. So what does this flow engineering actually look like? It's a really simple 4-step loop. Step 1, deconstruct. You break your big project down into smaller, manageable chunks. Step 2, delegate. Let the AI take a first pass at each of those chunks. Step 3 is the most important, direct. This is where you come in with your expertise, your taste, and your critical eye to refine what the AI gave you. And finally, step 4, synthesize. You weave all those polished pieces together into a final, coherent product. This makes AI a partner, not a replacement. Okay, that brings us to the home stretch. We've talked about the problem, we've gone through the solutions, so let's wrap it all up and boil it down to 4 key findings, the big takeaways for your life and your work.
Okay, finding number 1. Your most valuable skill is no longer just making stuff. In a world where AI can create endless content, the real value, the human value, is in defining the right problem to solve and then using your critical judgment to put it all together. You shift from being a creator to being an architect.
Number 2 is so important. You have to build a cognitive firewall. To fight back against that cognitive debt, you must schedule and protect time for your brain to work alone. No AI, no distractions. This no AI time is where you do your deepest thinking and prevent your own amazing skills from getting rusty.
Our third big takeaway is a call to action. Become a flow engineer. Stop being a passive user who just throws prompts into a box. Be the designer of your own workflow. When you use a structured process, you take back control, and you turn AI from a source of frustration into a tool that actually helps you find your flow.
And finally, our fourth finding. This is maybe the most important one. The ultimate form of job security in this new era is to double down on the things that make you human. Cultivate your resilience. Focus on what AI will never be able to do, showing real empathy, making complex moral judgments, and communicating with nuance and persuasion. That's your superpower. So we'll leave you with this to think about. The whole point of technology was supposed to be to act as a lever, right? A tool to make us stronger, smarter, better. We have to make sure it doesn't become a code that just writes us out of the equation. So the real question for all of us is, how are you going to protect the sacred boundary of your own attention?
Thanks so much for being here with us today. From all of us at the Flow Tao Salon, we wish you prosperity in the year of the horse.